2. Making the heart genuinely void. All emotions weaken mystic powers. If stronger, they may even destroy mystic powers of the genuinely void heart. On the opposite, the intensity of mystic powers becomes mightier when the genuinely void state of the heart is kept firm. The more intense the mystic powers are, the more concentrated the clairvoyance of the mind is. Electric and the light increase greatly. When the heart and the mind are genuinely void, the clairvoyance of the mind reaches its extreme degree. So it can be said that the dispersion and gathering of human electric come from the nature of the heart. Making the heart genuinely void does not mean to nullify it, because the body, the heart, and the mind are void, but the intelligence mind is always kept in a clear-sighted state, because the whole energy of the light gathers in the intelligence mind when the other three functions cease operatingly. So, making the heart genuinely void is completely different from the nullification of the heart and the mind. The nullification of the heart and the mind is to make all functions of the mind valueless. Consequently, they gradually become paralyzed, individual feelings vanish, and mankind's feelings in the conscious ego disappear. The nullification causes disorder to the feelings, or, even more seriously, it may cause an abnormal state to the mind's functions, and as a result, one becomes mad, silly, or foolish. The heart and the mind can be made genuinely void in perfect relaxation. However, if one tries to get to this state but the light does not increase, the mind becomes unclear, obscure, and dull, then it is not the genuine voidification, but instead harmful nullification. Who are more likely to be able to practice the genuine voidification of the heart and the mind? Those whose remembering mind is well developed and who can think enduringly can follow the procedure of genuine voidification, because the intelligence mind results from the thinking mind and the remembering mind. So, the intellectuals are generally in a good position to do this. To those whose mind is not very well developed and who cannot discern the cause, they had better nourish powers of qi and blood in simple methods. In the genuinely void state, no reaction of sensations, feelings, and thoughts exists, i.e., there is no fluctuation of liquid, qi, and electric. For that reason, all mystic powers and cosmic energy gather in the brain, and the animations of electric and light stop in the nervous system. At the moment, the vital place, divine door, in man's body, on the top of the head, opens. Thanks to this static state, human electric gathers in the heart. Accordingly, Thân, Hồn, Vía become mighty. Very static, the light power reaches its extreme level, then radiates into the cosmos. Therefore, it can be said that the genuine voidity is a sacred state of the heart and the mind. If a genuine will or idea arises from this sacred state, the animation coming from the genuine idea makes a miracle. The miracle resulting from the genuine idea constitutes a genuinely virtuous contribution for all. One of the methods of rectification is to use the genuine voidity to purify the worldly heart or to remove worldly disturbances. All that are constituted by the vulgar world pertain to the vulgar world. A simple memory of a troubled feeling appears in the heart. However vaguely, the heart still belongs to the vulgar world. How can the supernatural exist in such a heart? Those images that have been impressed by distresses, troubles, and disturbances of the heart are hard to fade away or to be erased, for deep sorrows grieve for months. The removal must last long if one is not determined to forget completely. If the heart contains no worldly distress, trouble, or disturbance, then the mind has nothing to observe. This heart and mind are clean, pure, and thus becoming supernatural. Many procedures can be used to remove the worldly memories, applying the present reality in one's activities. Utilizing genuine virtues in order to neutralize distresses. For instance, to scientists, when conducting their work with virtues, distresses and troubles are involuntarily removed. Recalling supernatural images in one's visions in order to understand the meaning of revelation. Thinking about an invisible object, the Creator. Eliminating distresses of the heart by an invisible object is to direct the mind to an invisible object in order to rectify one's own heart. It is not to use the thinking mind to ponder about invisible objects, to use the remembering mind to recall because one has never been able to see or direct it, or to use the intelligence mind to know or understand it, or to use the observing mind to observe it through visible and supervisible phenomena. The invisibility is the absolutely genuine voidity that surpasses all capabilities of remembering, thinking, knowing, and understanding. But only the absolutely genuine voidity of the mind, or the purest light of the mind, in the cessation of all of its capabilities and functions, can communicate with the divine super-mind and the divine character through the unification of the lights of the two cosmoses. To use the heart in substitution of the 5 natural sense organs, use the heart in place of the capabilities and functions of the sense organs. Taking the place of the capabilities and functions of the natural sense organs, the heart performs the function of observation and collects all phenomena, thus it does not fluctuate. Having no fluctuations, the heart enjoys peace. The 5 natural sense organs have been replaced by this peaceful heart, therefore the super sense organs start operating. If the heart observes, the body feels no tiredness, fatigue, or exhaustion, for the heart contains mystic power. But if one uses his 5 natural sense organs to observe and pick up phenomena, his body will be tired, fatigued, or exhausted because the refined power is spent. So, using the supernature in place of the nature, one masters both. Making the heart genuinely void is different from the state of the body's death. Making the heart genuinely void is a voluntary activity. It diminishes the life powers of the heart, i.e., decreases the fluctuations of feelings to a state without such fluctuations. At that moment, life's powers are equal to the life. Life's powers are the life. At this time, these life's powers get no descendant transmutation. The descendant transmutation unites with the ascendant transmutation as one. Human electric in the small cosmos equalizes with the cosmic electric. The heart becomes indestructible. When the heart is in the genuine voidity, the physiological phenomena of the flesh body change. The breaths are synchronized. Inhalation and exhalation cease functioning, i.e., unite. The heart stops beating. Dark fluid and red blood synchronize with each other. In the genuinely void state of the heart, the soul joins the life of the cosmic electric, which phenomena are brought forth from the genuine voidity. Following the period of genuine voidity in one's perfect relaxation or meditation, if dreams occur in one's sleeps, that is the operation of one's chi body or electric body. In perfect relaxation or meditation, the vulgar heart and the vulgar mind both cease operating. For this reason, in one's sleeps or in the state of inactive heart and mind, the chi body or the electric body appears and starts being active. The dreamer sees himself moving easily through the air. It is chi body that is active. If the electric body is in action, he can see himself beyond the atmosphere in a remote and extraordinary area, with none of the earth's sceneries. 1. Chi body operates in dreams. Chi body flies as a bird. Hồn, vía, and thân animate with their invisible powers in accordance with the level of serenity and quietness of the flesh body. The supermind, the superheart, and the supersense organs operate. In this kind of dream, the activities depend on the duration of the serenity and quietness of the heart and the mind. If the duration of these qualities is long, the dream endures. When the dreamer wakes up, he feels transcendent and satisfied. Chi in the upper part of his body trunk is very light, as if the body part is rising up. 2. The electric body functions in dreams. The electric body animates in the supernatural world and functions with the super sense organs, the superheart, the supermind, and the soul, in which genuine virtues appear. The electric body operates and performs with mystic power. The supernatural world gets vitalized by yang electric and yin electric, and the light in latency. In this world, all descendants and ascendants transmutations are performed by the 5 supernatural basic elements, and only the electric body can live in and operate. When the electric body operates, the superheart and the supermind are also able to evolve and understand thoroughly the genuine cause, the supernatural truth or medium tone. Genuine voidification of the heart and the mind engenders many phenomena in the flesh body as follows. Chi of the 5 viscera has no fluctuation. The 5 viscera thus are not affected by chi's agitation. Only yang and yin of electric animates. When one stays awake and feels no activity of the heart, it is the natural spontaneous character. Being natural and spontaneous in the character, one feels his body becoming transcendent, very light and peaceful. Yang and yin of chi are well balanced. Man will not be affected by fortunes or misfortunes as a vulgar man is. Always keeping oneself in this state, one acquires the natural tone. On the contrary, if any strong feeling connected to any of the viscera emerges, the heart fluctuates again. When the heart fluctuates, it draws the 5 viscera into agitation. As a result, the flesh body is pulled back into the cycle of fortunes and misfortunes. How can one make his heart clear? Looking outside in daylight, we can see everything. If one then looks into a dark room, everything is invisible. But when his eyes have become used to darkness, one can see things again. Similarly, when one looks into his heart, at first he cannot see anything, but gradually the practitioner can realize thoroughly the state of his heart, and then his heart has no more fluctuation. Looking into a dark room permanently, one can see everything and can move easily without stumbling. Identically with the heart, once one can see it clearly, he will not be entangled with troubles or distresses or psychological strains. Without entanglements, the heart is free, peaceful, and happy. Behaving with the genuinely void heart, once living, becomes supernatural. Worldly man knows and understands many external things, but hardly knows or only knows vaguely about his own heart. Many people travel many times around the world, but they can never see the supernatural sceneries in their own genuinely void heart. The genuine voidity of the heart is really its clear nature. On the opposite, feelings make it confused and obscure. Identically with the mind, thought related to the flesh body and the vulgar heart makes the light of the mind obscure. Conversely, the genuinely void state of the mind is really its clear nature. There are two aspects of the light. In physical aspects, the high concentration of the light increases its intensity behind the retina of the eyes. Thanks to this concentration and the magnetic field of human electric, the supersense organs can function. The whole nervous system connecting to the natural sense organs is in the spreading scope, the magnetic field of electric and light. Thus, it can put the supersense organs into communication with the supernatural world. In intellectual aspects, the clear nature of the mind state in understanding, knowing, discernment, and creation, and all functions and capabilities of the mind reach their extreme degrees. The heart has no shape, so if one can see through the rises of his feelings, his mind is very clear-sighted. Therefore, the one who can see clearly his own heart is an intelligent person. Having known thoroughly his own heart, he is also aware of others' heart through their appearance, voice, facial expressions, facial colors, etc. So, the one who wants to guide or give directions to others must first of all know his own heart thoroughly. Similarly, facts are easy to be perceived, while their causes are invisible. Whoever that can see through the invisibility is intelligent. Knowing thoroughly one's own heart is the prerequisite for one to be a moral teacher, a philosopher, or a townsman. Depending on the level of understanding of their own hearts and on the contemporary living conditions, they use appropriate methods, procedures, and words to progress and evolve others. How can one hear the voice of his own heart? Listening to the voice of the heart is a procedure to know others' hearts, i.e., know thoroughly the nature of the heart of others. Feelings are the animations of a worldly heart. The animation of feelings reveals the heart's nature of each individual. Human virtues and genuine virtues are the animations of the conscience and the superheart. Thus, one's voice contains good, bad, or wicked feelings and human or genuine virtues. In other words, the sounds produced through one's mouth express his heart's nature. The one who wants to know the heart's nature of others must know his own first. When his heart is already clear-sighted, he uses its genuine voidity to hear and understand the heart's nature of others and of all species through the frequencies within the spreading field of his human electric. That is why it is said that the genuinely void heart can know and understand all things in the heaven, the earth, and man's heart. The heart is clear-sighted because it is genuinely void. Being genuinely void, the heart is also the mind, and vice versa. In other words, the heart and the mind unite. At this moment, one becomes genuinely sincere to himself and others. His heart and his mind become one, and he is living in his supernatural small world. Therefore, a genuine man, superman, holy man, and Tao's man must first and foremost acquire the clear-sighted heart and be genuinely true to himself, then to others. Being genuinely true and sincere to oneself is a rapid procedure to rectify oneself, and also means living one's conscience and conscience's comprehension. Tao of the heart originates from this nature, and so do the miracles. Having known thoroughly his own heart, one lives through an inner person interacting with himself. He engages in conversation with himself. In this manner, he feels no loneliness. The one that converses with himself is always sincere and genuinely true. Since one is always genuinely true, dishonesty and deception vanish. Engaging in conversation with oneself, man no longer praises himself, but instead behaves permanently and effortlessly with humbleness, modesty, amiability, geniality, genuine truth, and sincerity. Genuine sincerity is a noble virtue. Why? Knowing oneself thoroughly, he contacts with himself by genuine truth and treats himself with all noble and supernatural virtues. For this reason, when he communicates with others, all that he treats himself with are also used for others' interests. This nature of the heart results from the fact that the light of the mind shines onto the heart and erases distresses as well as memories of troubled feelings. Gradually, the heart becomes genuinely void. When the light of the mind shines onto the heart, it mixes with the electric and qi in the genuinely void state of the heart and produces a physical phenomenon in man's body, the transcendence. The transcendence is a physical phenomenon holding within a supernatural substance. It is able to spread and overcome the atmospheric attraction and traverse qi and liquid of the natural world. The transcendence includes three aspects: substance, character, and character's energy. It surpasses the substance, characters, and character's energies of qi and liquid of the natural world. So, it suffices to say that only the inner living gets powers to drive man to be transcendent. The two kinds of body that operate by the inner living are the electric body and the light body. They are able to transcend the visible world and stay uninfluenced by the descendants and ascendants transmutations of qi and liquid. The animations of the substance, characters, and characters' energies of electric and light belong wholly to the cosmos. In man's body, all animations of electric and light are being without doing, i.e., even when they are functioning, they seem not to be so, as virtues or thoughts are. Virtues originate from and animate in the brain. Thoughts and super thoughts animate and get produced in the brain too. Any natural, supernatural, supernatural life has ego, but the ego of the supernatural life has objects that are no longer related to people in the worldly society. The ego of the supernatural life in the supernatural world is called the genuine ego. How can the observing mind neutralize all disturbances in the body, the heart, and the mind? When one can perceive the neutralizing effect of the observing mind, he can be conscious of its benefits. Generally, the insomniacs are disturbed in three states. In terms of sensations, i.e., they suffer from pains in the flesh body. In terms of feelings, which are caused by the agitation and troubles of the heart state, or by both troubles and sensations, both the body and the heart are disturbed. In terms of thoughts, which are caused by thinking and or remembering, by the fluctuations of both the heart and the mind, or by all of the body, the heart, and the mind. The ways to neutralize these disturbances. 1. If one suffers pain in the flesh body, i.e., the body is troubled and the patient cannot sleep, use the mind to shine attentively onto one's inner breath. The suffering sensation will disappear. 2. If one's disturbances are caused by feelings and sensations, i.e., both the body and the mind are disturbed, or by only feelings, i.e., the heart is troubled and one cannot sleep, use the mind to watch the heart, then the heart is no longer influenced by feelings. Memories and sensations gradually stop appearing. Thus, the heart and the body are neutralized by the mind. 3. If the mind is disturbed, troubled by thoughts, thinking, recalling, or both the heart and the mind are stirred up, or the body, the heart, and the mind all suffer, use the observing mind to shine onto the mind itself, then all troubles and disturbances in the mind are gradually erased. The effect of the observing mind is to neutralize or erase all troubles and disturbances in the body, the heart, and the mind. It facilitates man's easy sleep and at the same time increases many kinds of powers, superpower, mystic power, and cosmic energy, depending on which part the observing mind shines onto, either inner breath or the heart or the mind itself. One of the methods to rectify oneself is to erase troubles and distresses in the heart so as to turn it into character. So, what is the nature of character? Spontaneity, naturalness, and simplicity are the nature of character. Purity is also a nature of a character. Therefore, when one behaves with character, all of his activities are natural, spontaneous, and calm, meaning character is moving in a static state. Being in static state, gradually the character becomes extremely static. Being in natural and spontaneous state, one's feelings do not fluctuate. When no fluctuation arises, Qi is well regulated. When Qi is well regulated, the rhythm of one's breath is well balanced. When the rhythm of one's breath is well balanced, one enjoys peace and happiness. 1. If character is active in the flesh body, Qi is regulated. Blood is in good condition. The clear-sightedness of the mind conducts all activities of one's body trunk, head, limbs, and fingers with accuracy. One's breaths are regular, and each and every of one's movements is in proper tempo. 2. If character is active in the heart, subsequently the heart is the character itself and also a genuine heart, which gets genuine feelings. Though genuine feelings correspond to external sceneries, they are simple and sincere, not complex. A genuine feeling of joy is a pure joy. A genuine feeling of happiness is mere happiness. In a vocal heart, however, happiness is sometimes associated with worry and anger. A genuine feeling has no intervention of thoughts, therefore no impression or memory of this feeling is left in the heart, i.e., a genuine feeling occurs at the present reality. Children have character active in their heart, and thus they enjoy, shout, and cry all day long without recalling any gone-by feeling. Their activities are lively, in which serenity and purity also exist. Children are spontaneous in all activities. 3. If character is active in the mind, the clear-sightedness animates in one's thoughts thanks to which one can know thoroughly the cause. In self-rectification, what are the dangers or seduction and temptations? The roots of seduction have since long been implanted in man's body and in the memories by the heart and the mind. When one recalls the past, the remembered images and seductive sensations immediately stir up one's thinking mind, which infects his heart and mind again. Living in the real present is an effective procedure by which the roots of seduction will be removed. The one who often recalls the past is easily drawn into seductions which vivify in latency in one's heart and mind. External seductions and temptations are also dangerous, but one still can avoid them easily by keeping away from seductive environments. But the roots of seductions that have set firmly in the heart and the mind are harder to deal with because they already exist inside. Wherever we live or wherever we go to, the memories may still vivify. Therefore, living in the present reality will let the memories of sensations and feelings disappear. There are also other effective methods and procedures to erase the memories of sensations and feelings, one of which is the quietening of the heart. The quietude of the heart is the absence of feelings. The quietude of the heart helps one see often his conscience. If one has learned but does not understand, then he'd better try to comprehend himself with his conscience. This is an efficacious way that uses one's mind to look into his own heart in order to ameliorate himself. When can one easily see his own conscience? In quiet nights, one can see his own conscience without difficulty. During daytime, if one's heart is quiet and serene as at nighttime, immediately his conscience appears. If the conscience is aware of oneself, if the conscience is aware of itself, the conscience's comprehension immediately appears. At that time, love for mankind is formed in oneself. At the moment, the elements of space and time of the earth no longer exist. At this level, one can see thoroughly in oneself that the character has replaced the vulgar heart, the genuine ego has replaced the ego. A genuine man is now in place of a vulgar man. The acquired intellects no longer exist, but have been substituted by the supermind and the super-supermind. Love for mankind takes place of personal feelings. One is not oneself anymore, but a marvelous nature is animating in one's own body. How wonderful it is that one is no longer oneself and the will no longer belongs to an individual, but the soul joins all cosmic animations with peace and delight. To acquire the genuine ego, one must forget his individual social ego. In one's living, the individual ego is constituted in three aspects. The ego in the body, considered to be the main constituent of the ego. The ego in the heart, and the ego in the mind. 1. The ego is the body. The ego is the body and the heart. The ego is the body and mind, or body, heart, and mind. 2. The ego is the heart. The ego is the heart and the mind. 3. The ego is the mind. Besides the above-mentioned egos, experiences and knowledge also contribute to the formation of an individual ego. However, the sources of experiences and knowledge also undergo the cycle of birth and death. Therefore, they are also illusionary. Thus, ego does not persist. It is illusionary. All troubles and distresses are created by man, who ties his own mind to illusions and then discusses and argues about their rightness and wrongness. But if one can perceive the truth as it is, there will be no more discussion about the illusionary. Experiences and knowledge of the individual ego are like the hard shell, holding back the mind from contacting with the genuine heart. If the mind cannot enter the genuine heart, the genuine ego will be hard to be formed. In rectifying oneself, is it possible to change one's destiny through one's genuine heart? Destiny manifests in the body. Superfate animates in the genuine heart. Destiny belongs to the natural world, but superfate is a part of the supernatural world. Superfate can change the present destiny, i.e., the genuine heart can change the influences of fortunes, misfortunes, premature death, or longevity of the body. Living with the genuine heart, one's body enjoys longevity and fortunes. Practitioners are notably exceptional and unusual compared to common people or non-rectifiers. Common people tend to enlarge their land and create more belongings and properties. Self-rectifiers grow their good heart larger and create more virtues. In enlarging one's land and properties, one's mind develops, but one's heart becomes narrower. In increasing the goodness of the heart, both the heart and the mind become larger. Because man's heart is a marvel and amazing creature. The natural marvel on the earth is the ocean. The supernatural marvel is man's heart. In the ocean water, numerous strange and wonderful creatures animate. From their heart, unnumbered marvelous methods, wills, feelings, and virtues originate. Contemplating the supernatural marvel, the practitioner does not let his mind separate from the heart and direct outwards. Rectifying oneself, one's heart and mind get enlarged, and in them mysteries are revealed. And one has to know and understand from simple things to mysteries. In this manner, the practitioner must start to perform carefully from the simple ones. Take the following analogue. If an uttered word is not right in the meaning, how can one express a thought? If it is impossible to express a thought, how can one say correctly a speech unit? Not saying correctly a speech unit, how can one express rightly a phrase? If one cannot express fluently a phrase, how can he express a chapter? If a chapter cannot be done correctly, how can a book be written? If one cannot write a book, how can he give reason to his theory and make his doctrine clear? If a theory or a doctrine is not obvious and explicit, how can he know thoroughly his heart and character? If one is unable to know and understand his own heart and mind, how can he rectify himself? If one does not rectify his own heart and is not able to understand his character, how can he acquire Tao? Therefore, one must know simple things first. If he can know them in a usually simple way, surely he will achieve his purpose, i.e., acquire Tao. This method yields a slow result. However, it is suitable for people who get wide and extensive knowledge of external sceneries, but whose heart is not yet clear-sighted. For example, about the simple and marvelous nature of virtues, we know well enough about the 5 ancient virtues taught by Confucius, namely humanity, generosity, or benevolent and chivalrous nature, civility, or politeness, intellect, and trust, or confidence. They seem very simple, but to understand them deeply and apply them effectively, one's youth must be imbued with profoundness and mark it with intellectual depth and insight, because virtues reduce, or even better, exterminate wickedness and evilness. Humanity or humaneness erases wickedness. Generosity eliminates stinginess and miserliness. Civility removes pride, conceit, pretentiousness. Intellect takes stupidity away, and trust excludes doubt. 1. Humanity is the root of love. Wickedness is the source of sufferings and hardship. Humanity erases wickedness, or love exterminates sufferings and hardship. 2. Generosity is the root of giving. Stinginess is the source of self-interest and egoism. Generosity eliminates stinginess. The acts of giving and knighthood destroy self-interest and egoism. 3. Civility or politeness removes pretentiousness. Civility establishes appropriate ranks, places, and grades, while pride, conceit, and pretentiousness cause disorder in ranking. Civility removes pride and pretentiousness, or order and arranged ranking, solve disorder. 4. Intellect takes stupidity away. Intellect is the root of wisdom. Stupidity is the source of bad and harmful nature. 5. Trust excludes doubts. Trust is the root of assured hope. Doubt is the source of worry and anxiety. Trust excludes doubt. The assured hope gets rid of worry and anxiety. Therefore, the heart enjoys peace. Identically, the body, the heart, and the mind are the three basic elements that constitute the living way of man. These three words sound simple, but are indeed difficult to know and understand correctly. If one can understand them, he can develop them and rectify himself. Knowing thoroughly one's body helps man last the life of his body for longer. Being aware of one's own heart makes oneself become virtuous, and being conscious of one's mind, the mind's functions, one can enjoy the perpetual life. It is similar when it comes to good deeds. If one's performance of good deeds are seen and heard about, those deeds are called acts of fortunes, which belong to the material nature. If one's good deeds are not perceived, but only understood, the deeds are called the acts of virtues, which belong to the moral nature. If good deeds cannot be seen, heard, or understood by worldly people, they are the acts of Tao, which belong to the spiritual nature and to the divine character within human character. These deeds are considered by common people as crazy, foolish, or stupid. In a genuinely void heart, what does the self-rectifier feel? With the genuinely voidity of the heart, the self-rectifier experiences a transcendent ease of emotion in his activities. It is as light as a breeze. The wind moves endlessly because it has no entanglement, no heavy thing within itself. If man's heart excludes all images, troubles, and disturbances of feelings, it will also feel as a moving breeze. Though images and worldly matters are not measurable, they really make one's heart heavy. Being heavy and entangled, the heart and the mind are blocked by worldly images, which are heavier than gold and stones. Then, how can one's heart and mind bear and at the same time feel as light as the air? Eliminating worldly images, the source of annoyance and disturbance, is to make the heart genuinely void. Indeed, this is a hard work that requires a great will, determination, self-discipline, and intelligence. Its result depends on each individual's efforts, and the length, duration of one's performance. To an isolated practitioner who breaks off all social relations and aims to make his heart and mind genuinely void in order to develop the supermind, this is an effective method. But in order to evolve human heart and mind in social life, this way of making the heart genuinely void is unrealistic and impractical. Evolving human heart and mind with virtues and Tao's characters is also an effective and rapid procedure, and can avoid wasting time on making the heart genuinely void. Virtues and Tao's characters originate from the conscience. Instead of using the mind to make the heart genuinely void, one directly uses his conscience in all activities. The conscience screens away all annoying and disturbing images of a vulgar heart. This is like a recorded tape. Instead of erasing the formerly recorded content and then recording new one, the user records automatically the new sounds right on the old ones. A practitioner who gives attention to benefits for people in social life uses directly his conscience in social activities. It includes experiences, knowledge, and wisdom. Experiences are the cumulative apprehension and skills gained through practice and work. Knowledge is what that has been perceived and learned through deeds, books, and other literary work. Wisdom is a clear-sighted nature that has been collected from the cause of deeds and matters in the cosmic movement and in the divinely revealing verses. Thanks to the practical use of the conscience, misfortunes can be neutralized. Neutralizing misfortunes by making fortunes in one's living way, making virtues in one's living way, i.e., behaving with virtues in one's living activities, and nourishing Tao's characters in one's living way. Making misfortunes, hardship, suffering, distress, ineffective is to change a great part of one small world connecting to the body, the heart, and the mind. Misfortunes cause disorder to the function of qi in the body trunk. The mind becomes oppressively dull, slow, and confused. Much like in a violent storm with heavy rain, darkness, and sinister, liquid fluctuates, unclean and toxic qi emanates everywhere. Living beings get sick, and wicked, evil, and cruel phenomena appear. 1. Making fortunes in one's living way. This is a special method, a special way of living that produces the characters of fortunes. The characters of fortunes in the body. Desirable feelings, for instance, joyfulness, elation, delight, and love, animate. The three parts in the frontal body trunk feel a transcendent ease. The heart communicates with external phenomena. The mind is clear-sighted. Much like in a sunny, fair, and cloudless weather, all are bright. Liquid is well regulated. Clean qi moves everywhere. Living beings are healthy. Agricultural production has good harvests. 2. Making virtues in one's living way. Living virtues. When virtues animate, the mind feels easier. Qi and blood are well regulated, and the super heart and the super mind are clear-sighted in creation and invention. The activities are related to the cosmic and natural and supernatural small worlds. Visions occur in the cosmic and supernatural small worlds. 3. Nourishing Tao's characters in one's living way. Living Tao's characters. This means living Tao's characters. When Tao's characters animate, the heart and the mind feel peaceful and joyful, and the body enjoys a transcendent pleasure. One's activities connect to the three cosmic and small worlds. In summary, to neutralize or eliminate misfortunes is to substitute misfortunes with Tao, with virtues, and with fortunes. Therefore, Misfortunes no longer exist. Only favors granted by cosmic movement remain. Self-rectifying and assisting the world. This conduct is the living activity of the genuine virtue and Tao's characters in social life. The mind always shines onto the conscience and communicates with the supernature or connects with supernatural sceneries. This effect produces virtues. In a person who wants to evolve, the heart draws the mind to contact with external sceneries. Consequently, they originate sentimental, moral, and intellectual life. When the body, the heart, and the mind turn inwards, the effects give rise to spiritual life. When genuine virtues animate, the heart and the soul animate, inner powers, superpower, and mystic power in latency increase. The duration and intensity of vivifying genuine virtues form the intensity of mystic powers. If one's mystic powers or genuine virtues are strong, evil spirits cannot harm him or even are afraid of him. The one who gets strong mystic powers by genuine virtues can command wild beasts and avoid danger and calamities caused by powers of the natural world. A. Duration and intensity of human virtues equal intensity of superpowers. B. Duration and intensity of genuine virtues equal intensity of mystic powers. The power of the heart is superpower, G's power plus electric's power. The power of the soul is mystic power, which are electric's power and light's energy. The proactiveness in this living way is that virtues are nourished and put into permanent use in one's social life. From this, we can discern that this is using the result to produce more effect instead of using the mind to look inwards and make the heart genuinely void in order to find the result. Nourishing more virtues and performing them mean that the practitioner increases moral life's powers and the real life of the heart. When the heart gets real life, certainly the body enjoys peace. In other words, virtues are mystic powers, and their animation increases energy for the electric body. The one who wants to evolve must inspect and examine himself. Worldly people examine and measure external things and matters, attaching importance to body weight, assets, and property, all which connect to the material life. On the contrary, the self-rectifier examines closely his virtues and Tao's characters in order to know exactly how many virtues have been developed, nourished, and or put into practice, and to improve the method of self-rectification, i.e., things that influence his spiritual life. For example, about the self-rectification following certain regulations. Rectifying oneself in accordance to fixed regulations can only improve virtues, but in fact is less effective for the evolution of one's spiritual life, because regulations are fixed while the spiritual nature is very lively. Using a constant state to control the non-constant is ineffective. What are the effects of virtues? When virtues animate greatly, the suprasense organs become more keenly perceptive, the mind increases its willpower, and the heart strengthens its determination. Thanks to the keen perceptiveness of his suprasense organs to the supernature in his flesh body, a virtuous person can foresee the time of the death of his flesh body, as well as the occurrence of fortunes and misfortunes. The animation of virtues strengthens the heart's power and makes the mind more clear-sighted. The heart and the mind are supernatural entities. Virtues are supernatural and supervisible powers, which cannot be seen by the 5 natural sense organs. The heart and the mind constitute the basic structure of the soul, or the core of the soul. When the heart and the mind are bright and mighty, so is the soul. In this state, the life powers of the spiritual life become stronger. Virtues are produced by Tao's course and then are put into teachings. Therefore, all right Taos teach virtues as fundamentals, whereas all perverse Taos lure the heart and the mind with witchcraft or sensual pleasures. To save man is to redeem his way of living by using virtues in place of sins and wrongs. Right in the repeated performance of virtues, man's way of living can avoid strong, seductive desires and immoral sensations. Therefore, by using virtues permanently in activities, one needs not try to eliminate distress or disturbance, because these troubles will be removed involuntarily. This procedure gets the same effect as living virtues in real present. The heart will be purified. Purifying continually, however, is less effective than neither recalling the past nor thinking about the future, instead only living in the present reality with virtues and Tao's character. Not recalling the past is to eliminate completely the sufferings memories of the body, the heart, and the mind. In other words, the mind is in the present state of itself.